I, 30 male, and my wife, 29F, have been together for 6 years, married for 2. I have a type, and based on my past relationships and the women I'm attracted to, it's not subtle. I like curvy women. And my wife happens to fit this type to a T. She thick, and I appreciate that. I have been with other types of women, and simply put, thinner women don't do it for me. I mention this because I think that attraction is a big part of a relationship. I could love a person's personality all day long, but if I'm not attracted to them, it's not being to work. Very early in our relationship, she told me that she wanted a reduction as she felt like they didn't fit her frame and that they caused her to receive unwanted attention. I asked her if they caused her pain. She said that they didn't. I told her that I could understand doing something so drastic if they caused her pain or discomfort, or if it needed to be done for medical reasons, but for what boils down to just for aesthetics seemed a bit much. She didn't really agree or disagree and more or less just dropped the subject, as did I. Fast forward 5 years and we've been married for a year at this point. Out of nowhere she said that she had an appointment with a doctor to talk about a reduction. I was kind of surprised because I figured that at the very least she would mention it to me. I understand that it's not my place to tell her what she can or can't do with her body, but I thought she would have said something even in passing. After her appointment I thought that we should at the very least sit down and talk about her undergoing a massive surgery. I asked her about her appointment but she seemed cagey about the details. Eventually she opened up and told me that she was playing this close to her chest, no pun intended, because she knew that I would try and talk her out of it. I told her that I'm her husband and that I wouldn't try and talk her out of it, but I did want to make clear that, for the lack of a better phrase, actions have consequences. She said that she understood that, but her chest makes her feel too self-conscious and she wants to go through with it. I told her that I understood and would stand by her. So she gets the procedure done and after all the healing and swelling went down she was left with a small B. We have been intimate a few times over the few weeks after she felt like everything was good and it's been a struggle. The size is really messing with me, but not only that, the scars are brutal. I have a thing about scars that just give me the ick. Even when I had my own surgery, my own scars gave me the chills in the worst way possible. I opted for doggy style and reverse cowgirl so I didn't have to see the scars, but my wife knew something was off. She would switch positions so we could face each other, and it's been the end every time. I made up some bullshit about lower back pain, and doggy style being the most comfortable position for me. She got upset and accused me of not finding her attractive. I didn't want to keep lying to her, but at the same time if I agreed I think Ty would have crushed her, so I just walked away from the conversation. I know, it's not a great move to pull if I want a healthy relationship, but I didn't know what else to do. After that, I pulled back from initiating because I'm just not into it anymore. I would accept her advances as her libido is lower than mine, but I've pulled away from that as well, because her chest is really unappealing to me. After a few weeks of me not initiating, she confronted me about it. I tried to brush it off by saying that I was stressed and tired. Lying felt kinder than saying that her flat chest makes her look like a child and the scars make me want to dry heave, but she wasn't having it. I sat her down and reminded her that her actions would have consequences. She blew up at me, calling me shallow and telling me that this wouldn't matter to a real man. She asked if I still loved her. I said that I did, but that doesn't mean that meant that I was obligated to sleep with her, and if the roles were reversed she would say that this dynamic is borderline abusive. That conversation was like a month ago and since then, things have been icy at best. I will want to cuddle with her and spend time with her, but she has rejected my offers to spend time with her at every turn. It feels shitty because this entire situation was caused by her. She made the decision to get this done, despite my concerns. She knew how much scars deeply affected me and she pushed a specific kind of sex onto me despite me trying to work around this. And now that the consequences of her actions are affecting her, she is mad at me. I am going out of my way to offer her physical intimacy outside of sex to show that I still love her and that I'm still there for her, but she's not having any of it. I know that she's hurt because while I won't admit to it, she knows that I'm not attracted to her, at least with her shirt off anymore. And that probably feels crushing, but she brought this upon herself. At this point I don't know where else to go from here. I feel like she won't forgive me, and to be honest this whole thing has caused some resentment towards her, so I feel that divorce is our only option at this point. So Ada, if I get a divorce over this? Edit, those of you saying that I only loved my wife for her boobs, read the 4th paragraph, and then read it again until it makes sense to you. Sound the words out if you have to. Not only is that take reductive as hell, but it's also flat out incorrect. Is the size an issue for me? Yes. But it's not the end all be all. I know that attraction is very much learned, but I'd like to do that at my pace, and constantly putting fresh scars in my face when we are intimate is not how you go about that. My issue is twofold. She allowed the glances of strangers supersede my comfort with the situation. She put herself into debt just to appease the thoughts and opinions of other people. She is not letting me adjust at my own pace. I love my wife, and I love being with my wife, but forcing me to look at something that I find deeply disturbing is kind of fucked up. I've offered solutions that could work for us perfectly, but it seems that unless the only words out of my mouth are great decision honey, your new boobs are way better than your old ones, she doesn't want to hear it. Because of those two factors this is hard for me to look past. Especially since, this wasn't a necessary thing to do. I haven't even gotten into the fact that insurance refused to cover the surgery because it was technically a cosmetic surgery and she put herself in debt to do this, which pushes us back from buying the house we want. All around this was selfish and pointless. Literally hustling backwards. Oop, what part of this post said that I was only interested in her boobs? Have an adult read the post for you. I, HLM 30, started a deadbeat room with my, 29 HLF, wife. Essentially she made a unilateral decision to get a breast reduction for cosmetic reasons. I tried to get used to it but my issues are multifaceted. 1. After all the swelling went down she's left with a B cup. She's flat-chested and it feels very gross to me, like I'm looking at a child. It fucks with me mentally as am I used to seeing large breasts when we used to have sex, so seeking her so flat just makes it feel inappropriate. 2. Her scars are fucking terrible. I have a strong aversion to scarring and scars in general. Her scars are being absolutely brutal. Red and raised all the time. I even thought that she had an infection, but she tells me that her scars are red for a long time. 3. I'm simply not into flat-chested women. It's just not for me. 4. I'm angry that she would make such a bold decision with basically no heads up or room for feedback. 5. With how they look between the flatness and the scarring, not only does it do nothing for me, but they actively turn me off when I see them. I used to out her in positions like doggy style and reverse cowgirl where I could at least focus on other things, but it's like she puts them in my face on purpose. She even confirmed that theory when she told me that she wanted to face me while we have sex so she can make sure I'm still attracted to her. And to be frank, I have lost a lot of attraction towards her. I told her the truth. I said that her chest is turning me off and that I would like to work around that for the time being until I can grow some attraction towards them, but she freaked out on me. I suggested she wear a shirt, or if we can have her face away from me, and she said that's degrading. Fair. I asked if she can wear lace bras or lingerie so it's sexy for the both of us, but she says that it feels like I'm just trying to cover her up. To be fair to her, I am, but it's what I'm comfortable with. She either balks at every suggestion or cries and tells me that it feels like I don't love her. I asked her what a good solution for this would be, and her solution is that I should appreciate how she looks and just get used to it. Well, I have a third option. I can just take sex off of the table. It's been a few weeks since we last had sex. We averaged 3 to 4 times a week, so obviously she has been pissed. She asked me when I get over my bitch fit, and I'll just ask her if she is willing to use any of my suggestions. She stormed away. Imagine trading your sex life just to get a worse pair of tits. Update 1. If that's all you got from the post, then I can only hope you don't have kids to pass your low IQs down to. I have done some soul searching and have evaluated my true feelings on the matter. After speaking with a few people that I trust and my therapist, I am realizing that my issue wasn't just with a reduction. Does it suck? Sure, but I'll live. I sat down with my therapist and understand that I have 4 main issues with her decision to get the procedure. My wife allowed outside influences to affect our marriage in an irreversible way. The constant pushing of my boundaries during sex. The lack of communication beforehand. The lack of communication after I rejected her advances. I gave it a week and have come to the conclusion that I can't let these feelings go. If I can't trust that she won't change her body because a creepy dude gives her a look, then how am I supposed to trust her with bigger shit like having kids or buying a house? I asked if she felt happier after the procedure, and she said that she doesn't. I asked if she felt like she was stared at less. She said that she feels like she gets the same amount of looks. I asked if she felt like she got her money's worth. I didn't get an answer for that one. So the whole thing has been a failure. In essence, this was a big waste of time, money, effort, and stress. My friend put me in contact with his lawyer, so done is done, I suppose. She can keep everything, I just want the cat. Finally, for those of you that told me to leave her so she can find someone who actually loves her, you got it. I'm done with her. I have an issue with my wife, lying to me and keeping secrets for months, just to spend a bunch of money on a surgery that didn't fix her issue. She displayed a glaring lack of decision-making skills and has proven herself to be a liar, and someone who will keep secrets from me. I know you're going to attempt to justify it, but that's a deal breaker for me. The scars are just the cherry on top. Update 2. My soon-to-be ex-wife came home today, came into my office, and just stared at me. It caught me off guard after weeks of silence. She told me that she wanted to read a Reddit story to me. Alarm bells started going off, but this is something we did often throughout our relationship, so I didn't sweat it until she started reading my own words to me. It was bold. I didn't expect her to do that. After she read the post, I confirmed it was my post. She started sobbing. I guess divorce never crossed her mind, which is actually surprising to me. She cried, and she pleaded. She asked what she could do to stop me from divorcing her. I told her literally the only thing she could do was go back in time and stop her from getting the reduction. She got mad and pleaded with me to give her a way forward. I sat there for about 10 minutes trying to actually figure out if there was a way I could overlook her bullshit. She actually suggested getting implants. I was fucking floored. I somehow respected her even less than before. Not only was she willing to throw away our marriage over a terrible decision, but the fact that she was actually willing to get implants tells me that she didn't even have conviction to stand by her decision. It felt spineless. I told her that the last thing I wanted was for her to throw away her morals and convictions just to appease me. I told her that I wanted her to actually admit to me that she regretted her decision and was only trying to get me to validate her decision, so she felt it was worth it. She kind of stopped talking and started pacing the room. She broke down and told me that she felt like she had made a mistake. In some way, I felt relieved, like I wasn't crazy for feeling that way. Another part of me felt sick because this whole series of events didn't even need to happen. I asked if she felt that her life had improved since the surgery. She told me it hadn't. I asked her if I was the source of that. She told me that I wasn't. I had asked her if she knew why I was mad at her, and thanks to the lovely input of you guys, she was under the impression that I said that I was mad because she made her boobs smaller. I told her that my issue is the fact that she lied and kept secrets from me for months. I told her that the whole reason why I gave up some of my more expensive hobbies was so that I could save up for a new house, that she wanted to get so that we could both have our names on it. I told her that I was upset because she constantly pushed my boundaries and refused to find a solution with me that could work for both of us. I told her that I was upset because she has shown a severe lack of good decision-making skills. I told her that I couldn't trust her to make good decisions, and that cripples our relationship. She asked if we could try couples counseling, but I'm not sure that will fix how I feel. Understand, she made a life-altering unilateral decision without my input, and I can't trust her to come to me with another issue. Like, if we had a child, how do I know that she will come to me and tell me news I don't want to hear? How do I know she won't just hide it from me until it blows up in our faces? She didn't have a response to that. After a few minutes of just waiting for her to say something, she asked if I would have had a problem with her getting the procedure if she came up and talked to me about it. I told her that I still think her reasoning for getting the surgery was pointless, but ITD her body. I admitted that I probably would have just suggested therapy because I don't think her issue would ever be solved with a reduction. Back pain? Sure, that makes sense. Cancer? Of course, we do what we have to do. But to stop people from glancing at her? That's not it. I asked if it occurred to her that maybe people might glance at her because she's beautiful. She didn't have an answer for me. I asked if she had self-esteem issues or body image issues like so many of you said. She told me that she didn't. She just found it annoying when people looked at her chest. I asked if that made her self-conscious or if that caused her anxiety. She told me that it didn't and that she never felt unsafe or anything. She just more so wanted to have a more slender body type because that was the body type she always wanted. Turns out she never really liked being thick. I told her that to my ear. It sounds like she had body image issues. She was kind of wishy-washy about it, so I suggested therapy. We talked for the majority of the afternoon. She asked if I was still going to divorce her. At that moment, I wanted to die. It felt like a hole opened up in my stomach. Up to this point, I had conviction that I would divorce her. I guess seeing her in so sad person made my armor crack a bit. I told her that today was emotional and that I shouldn't make any decisions at the moment. She asked if we could sleep together for the night, but I wasn't in the headspace for it, and I told her so. She looked like she was about to throw a fit, but I guess she thought better of it. I told her that she didn't have to move out immediately, but she should start looking for a new place or ask her mom if she could live with her. She doesn't have a job at the moment, because she lost it during all this. She asked about the car, and to be honest, I don't need it and I have savings, so I told her that she can drive it for now. If I follow through with the divorce, I plan on just giving her the car as long as she just signs the paperwork. So for now, she'll be staying in the in-law suite. Regardless of whether we stay together or not, I still think I'm due for a vacation. Oop, I hate to sound like this, but I can only conclude they are mad at very reasonable points because I'm a man who is talking about his wife's body. I 29F ruined my marriage with my husband, 30M. How do I fix this? 5 days later I don't even know where to begin. I 29F have always been on the thicker side. Even from a young age I was always filled out. I always liked the lean, slender look, but my genetics had other ideas. I always had big boobs. I've been hot and cold toward them at different points in my life. I got to the point where I had a G-cup. I thought about a breast reduction but never did any real research. I've also been on the receiving end of a lot of staring. It feels like I couldn't just go outside my house without some guy trying to hit on me. 6 years ago I met my husband, 30M, I'm going to call him H. H and I met through friends and we immediately hit it off. He was tall, handsome, and funny as hell, but he was really sweet and caring. Early in our relationship, I was way less secure with my body and wanted to make sure that he liked how I looked. I asked H about his thoughts on if I should get a breast reduction. He told me that they couldn't make them any more perfect if they tried. I laughed, but asked for a serious answer. He said that he would need to understand why I wanted one. I told him that it's not like they hurt me or anything. I was fortunate. He told me that I was beautiful and that he loved my body as much as he loved me, but if I didn't love my body as much as him, then he would suggest therapy. I was happy that he found me to be attractive. I took my small victory and moved on. H and I dated for 3 years before he popped the question on my favorite hiking trail. It was perfect. We got married in winter 2021. Around a year ago, I guess I had a small bout of depression. To H's credit, he was on it. He knew something was wrong, but I didn't really even know myself, so I just told him that nothing was wrong. He would take time to listen to me talk, he would take me out on dates, and just make sure he knew that he cared about me. I appreciated that from him. I would reassure him that nothing was wrong, but I think he knew. One day, I was looking at the wedding photos, and I just hated how I looked at that moment. I looked at my chest and felt like I looked very over-sexualized and trashy. I cried. All the thoughts of having that lean, slender look came back, and I started researching breast reduction. I found a doctor that wasn't too far from my job. I called and made an appointment. The consult went well. I made a follow-up appointment going over some more details. We decided that I was a good candidate for surgery and I went home. Eventually, I got the call and scheduled it for a few weeks later. During the weeks leading up to the date, I got a call that my insurance wouldn't cover the procedure. This gave me pause, but I knew that I had savings that could cover the cost. Unfortunately, this was supposed to be used for a new house for H and myself since we lived in his house. I felt bad because throughout this entire process, I didn't tell H about any of this. I knew he would tell me that I was beautiful, and that I shouldn't spend the money on this, but to be honest I didn't want to hear any of that. He has a habit of trying to fix everything. I had my mind made up that I was going to get the reduction, and I would be happier for it. But I didn't tell him for so long that I felt like I couldn't say anything at this point. 1 week out from the surgery, I was sitting in bed one day and he hops in bed and tells me that he would like to go over the meal plan for the next week, something we do every week. I froze because I knew that next week was going to look very different than usual. I told him that I had to tell him something. I told him that I was getting a breast reduction. He stopped for a split second and just laughed. I told him that I wasn't joking and that I was serious. He started asking me questions, and after 5 minutes or so, he realized that I was being serious. He looked shocked. He asked why I kept this from him for so long. I told him that I didn't want him to tell me that I was perfect and beautiful. I felt ugly and told him that it felt invalidating when he contradicted that. He told me that he tells me that because he loves me and he doesn't want me to feel bad about myself. He asked how long I knew, and I told him the truth. I told him that I knew for 4 months that I was getting the surgery. He just sat there looking at me. When I asked him what he was thinking, he said that he didn't know what to say. He just got up, gave me a hug, and told me that he loved me, but we needed to have a long talk after I healed up. The next week was a blur between the surgery drugs and the pain meds. The first few days were very bad, pain-wise, but after that, I mostly just felt drained. I would look at my chest and I only felt nervous. I had this fear that deep down, I wouldn't like how I looked and would hate my chest. H was a rock during this. He always made sure to tell me that I was beautiful and that he loved me. He also made sure I ate, he took care of the cooking and cleaning. He made sure I took my meds on time. He even changed his work schedule so that he would be at home when I was awake and paid his brother to stay at the house during the night in case I needed anything. But the big one was that he changed my dressings and cleaned me. H has a thing with scars. He absolutely has no stomach for them. He will even turn his head away whenever I watch those medical shows on TV. A few years ago, he had a knee surgery, nothing major, but he needed stitches. He couldn't stand to look at them. I knew that he had an issue with scars/stitches, but I thought that he would be fine until we had sex for the first time. We usually have a good mix of positions during sex, but it seemed like he would only put me in doggy style or reverse cowgirl. I knew we were in trouble the first time I turned around, and I could feel him go soft. Like as soon as he saw my chest, he was out. He claimed that he came, but I didn't think that was the case. I also noticed that he didn't initiate after the surgery, something that he did regularly. I felt like he did want to look at me, but I was determined to make him rip the band-aid off. He would ask for other positions, but I felt like he was telling me to turn away from him. I felt ugly. The worst part was that he wouldn't just tell me that he didn't like my chest. I couldn't fix anything because he wouldn't even tell me what the issue was. Once I initiated and he asked if I could wear a shirt. I felt like he was trying to cover me up. The next day, we sat and talked. He asked if I would be okay with wearing a corset or a sexy bra. I asked him if he liked my chest. I kind of danced around the question, which is extremely unlike him. He said that he just couldn't look at my scars. I told him that he needed to get over it. He said that he didn't and that he had no obligation to have sex with me. I was so hurt at that moment that I told him that a real husband wouldn't have an issue with a few scars. He just looked at me, and he looked hurt. I knew that would hurt him, and I said it anyway. I think that was the start of the end for us. A week or so goes by, and we are back to just awkward. I started to initiate, and he turns off the light and started reciprocating. In the moment, I knew that this was weird. He is extremely visual, opting for lights on or blinds open. I knew he was making the room dark, and in that moment I just started crying. He asked what was wrong, and I told him that I knew that he thought that I was ugly. He sat up and we argued. He said that he was trying for me, but nothing was good enough. I told him that I was sensitive, and that him asking me to put a shirt on and turning off the lights made me second guess if I was pretty or not. He got mad the first time in all this. He said that I made the conscious decision to get this done without his input, so I shouldn't need his validation. I just got up and left the room. I didn't want to talk to him and just wanted to curl up and cry. In the morning we sat down and he told me that he has boundaries and the only way for this to work is for me to respect his boundaries. I told him that if I did so I would be allowing him to make me feel ugly. He said that he needed time, which is bullshit because I feel like if he loved me he wouldn't need to adjust to me. I said that wouldn't work for me, so he said that he was taking sex off of the table until we could come to a compromise. I thought he wasn't serious until I tried that night and he just got out of the bed. I asked why he was doing this and he said that actions have consequences. After that night I didn't want to talk to him. He would try and talk to me, but I wasn't even in the headspace to speak to him. Unfortunately, I felt like I couldn't go to work because I wasn't in the headspace to go. I ran out of PTO and my boss told me that I couldn't retroactively apply for FMLA. He told me that I needed to report the next day or I was terminated. I told him that I wouldn't be there and he fired me. During the last week, I have cried so much. This didn't turn out how it was supposed to at all. I thought I was going to be happy, but in all honesty I've never felt worse. I feel like I took a part of myself that was pretty and got rid of it because I thought it would make me happy. I never had one of those moments I see the TikTok girls have where they try on a shirt before and after their surgery and they are so happy. Now my shirts still look bad, and on top of that I don't have a chest. I just look at my chest and cry. I see at the scars, and think about how small I am now. I was staying in the guest bedroom when one of my girlfriends sent me a link to a Reddit post. Instantly I knew it was H. He even brought up divorce. I didn't realize things were so rocky that he was thinking of divorce. I didn't know what to do. I still don't know what to do. I went upstairs and started reading the post. H was staring through me at this point, then he told me that it was his post. I just cried so hard, he didn't even hug me or anything. He just sat in his chair and looked at the floor. I read through the comments and kept seeing over and over that he only liked me for my boobs, so I asked if that was true. He looked pissed but never yelled. He told me that he doesn't feel like I can make good decisions on my own. I felt like he thought I was a child. I told him that I thought I made a mistake getting this done. He said that's why he questions my decision-making ability. I even asked if he would want me to get implants to get my size back. He told me that it's not even about that anymore and told me to please stop getting surgeries done unless a doctor tells me to. I feel like I don't have any dignity anymore. I never would have thought about getting implants a year ago, but now I'm seriously considering it. I don't want to get a divorce. I love H so much, but I feel like he's done with me. I feel like we are too far off the rails to get back on anymore. He was the greatest thing to happen to me and now he doesn't want anything to do with me. I asked him if he was still going to divorce me. He told me that he didn't know, but I should get my affairs in order. I just want to know, has anybody come back from something like this? How do I convince him that I can be trusted to make good decisions?